Alright, so we're all familiar with Pal World, right? The barely legally distinct Pokemon game that Nintendo has been trying to shut down since before its release, non-stop, relentlessly. What if somebody was able to make an even more legally distinct game in the same realm? Luckily for you, we have Pocket Game. Not Pocket Pair, Pocket Game. And they've created Pickmon, which is... it's distinct. It's not close. It's not close to Pokemon. So I saw this while I was on the r/games Reddit. I was just browsing through there to see what was going on. And this looked so egregious that I feel like I have to talk about it. I feel like more people need to see just how blatant this is. Especially because Pokemon and Pal World are not the only games that they have taken from. I was gonna say taken inspiration from, but this isn't inspiration. This is more than that. So I have the trailer up here, and I just want to play through some of it and kind of talk about just how insane this is, that this exists, that it's going to exist potentially. I mean, Nintendo lawyers are going to be on this unbelievably fast. I just want to play through some of this trailer to show where the inspiration came from. So immediately, we are 3 seconds in. Immediately, you may notice there is something similar about the outfit that this character right here has. If any of you have played Breath of the Wild, it is shockingly similar to Link, and you'll see as we go a little further that that's not the only similarity that this guy has to Link. He looks very similar in the face area as well. Okay, some of these, I haven't played Pal World too thoroughly. This one here, this guy, 100% is just a Pal World asset rip. It has to be. Like, it's like they just poured out the toy box of stolen models and then just brought like a colorblind person in to paint all of them. And then this was the end result. This one too, this is also absolutely just, I think this is just one of the Pal World character models with a mushroom on his head. And there he is, there's Link, or legally distinct Link. It is insane how, like, I don't understand the point of doing this. Because everyone knows by now that Nintendo is so strict with their properties that, like, if a kid were given a Pokemon coloring book, you would have Nintendo lawyers standing over that kid's shoulders to make sure the kid is coloring in the Pokemon the right colors, so that they're not taking creative liberties by making Pikachu blue or something. Yes, the legally distinct Pokeball, the playing card capture mechanic. I know Nintendo didn't get their capture and summon patent go through. I didn't know they didn't have that go through. But I mean, this still is not far enough away from just a Pokeball mechanic for it to not piss them off. I don't understand the point of doing this. If it's for publicity, then, like, I get it. Any publicity is good publicity to a degree. But this, it's so close and so blatant, I don't think it's going to get out the door, even close to Pal World. With the... hold on, I'll go back a few seconds. We'll go back to here. So this, you have your base building, you have your tools, you have your Pokemon that's definitely not Lucario, absolutely not even close. And you have them working on the benches and stuff. I think these were also in Pal World, these cows. But it's if you're pissing off Nintendo, which is extremely obvious. Pickmon is already close enough. But you're also going after Palworld. Even with the developer name, Pocket Pair is the developers of Palworld, who self-published Palworld. But this is Pocket Game, and now they're making Palworld. Okay, I get that asset flips are easy. If indie horror games has taught us anything, it's that statement right there. But this Mammoth is from Palworld. It's like one of the very early ones that you see. And the minigun on like the larger, rounder Pokemon, I think that's also just basically an asset from Palworld. But this shot here is, I think, also in one of the trailers. And if you remember, the thumbnail or Pickmon, the reveal trailer, is essentially like exactly the same as the like Steam banner art for Palworld. But yeah, asset flips are like the easiest thing you can do. You grab a box of things and then you just pour them out into whatever open world landscape you bought on the asset store of the engine you're using, which this looks like it is. I feel like they did not take the time to, just call me crazy, I feel like they didn't take the time to actually put this world together in any cohesive sense. Hold on, we're going back. We're going back. So, in that brief flashbang-esque shot you may have just had, Nintendo and Palworld are not the only properties that they're taking inspiration from, taking creative liberties from. This is Roadhog. This is Roadhog from Overwatch in every single aspect. It's every part of him is the exact same. They have the mask, the white hair. This is on the same shoulder. I checked because I wanted to see how thoroughly copied it is. This on Roadhog, I think, is like a tire with like spikes on it. It's the same shoulder, the same design. This might actually just be taken from the actual like game files of Overwatch and then just recolored. There it is. That's Pickmon. Are you excited for it? Because it's on Steam. It's not out yet, but it is on Steam. This actually got on Steam and is on the Steam store, and you can look at it and see it on there. And the one of the most insane things about this to me, not the most insane thing, we'll get to that, but one of the most insane things is they have a publisher. Pocket Pair published their own game. They developed it and they published their own game, which is Palworld. They did all of that themselves. Pickmon has a publisher, which means that people saw this and did not see an issue with deciding to make trailers and promoting it and funding all of that stuff. They actually decided to spend the money and put their names on a product like this. Pissing off Blizzard is one thing. I'm sure I don't know like the history of their lawsuits and all that, but Nintendo, everyone knows, if you breathe on their characters wrong, they will send a predator missile directly to your house. They will send it right through your roof, and then they'll make you pay for the missile that they sent for having the audacity to even think about their properties the wrong way. But the biggest issue is that I see with this is on the end screen. Future release planned for Nintendo Switch. There's the publisher, by the way, Network Go. They want this game to be on the Switch. While Nintendo is already fighting a war with Palworld non-stop, they have been going for years against Palworld and Pocket Pair. They already got me with that. So maybe they're just hoping that Nintendo lawyers are like too busy trying to sue Palworld to have any time to worry about Pickmon. And I assure them that's not the case. That is 100% not the case. Nintendo lawyers are diligent. They find even the smallest thing and they shut that shit down. You cannot have anything that's not sanctioned by them at any point, in any situation. Like, they shut down a charity event, I believe, if I remember right. There was a charity event that had Nintendo games as like a huge part of it, and near the start of the event, the charity event, Nintendo told these event organizers that they needed permission to have those Nintendo games in their event, otherwise they would get some kind of legal action or something similar. And they couldn't, because the games were such a big part of the charity event, they couldn't take those games out because permission would have taken too long since the event was just about to start. They couldn't take those games out without massively overhauling and drastically changing the event, which they didn't have time to do, so they had to shut down the whole thing. And that was because the people that were running the event wanted the games to be played in a charity event, because they're fun. Like, Nintendo games are made to be fun and entertaining, and it would be great to have them in a charity event. But Nintendo shut that down because the event organizer didn't get permission to have those games in the event. So this extremely blatant ripoff of 3 games, 3 separate companies, 3 separate properties, Nintendo, Pocket Pair, and now Blizzard, which is an insane one to go after. Because, let me see if I can get back to it. Right here. You did not need to do this. There is no reason to have him in here, his character model. None of the other characters even look like they relate to this character model at all. You did this just to do this, just to steal a character model from a well-known game. This doesn't draw people from those communities to your game, it makes them laugh. So I'm just confused as to why is this game made? Who is it for? Because you're not going to make any money. This game isn't even going to get out the door if Nintendo has anything to say about it, or Blizzard, or Palworld, Pocket Pair. I keep almost getting mixed up with Pocket Game. So I don't understand why take the time and the money and effort to, not that there's much effort, like I said, asset flip, but why take the time and money to make this when nothing can come out of it? Especially when you're planning a Switch release. This feels like people that have never heard of Nintendo. I feel like they've only seen Palworld and they were like, we can do that better. We can do that and no one could ever come after us. Nintendo's gonna love this. So it's so weird to me, and I feel like more people need to know about this just because it's so absurd. The community page on Steam for this game is fascinating. It's so unbelievable that this exists, that people are actually making theories about how Nintendo's secretly behind this. Which is not the case. This is probably just like another case of like a Chinese studio that sees popularity and they're just like dipping into it and just to get a small amount of money out, or however much they can. But this is not the way to go about it, because it's Nintendo and Blizzard and Pocket Pair. But yeah, that was it. That's Pickmon in all of its absurd and weird conceptual glory that we're never gonna see more of. But yeah, that's it. So thank you everyone for watching, and goodbye.